Hey, Choice Fruit.
Hey, Choice Fruit.
So today is the final day of the
21
Positivity
days.
Challenge. I mean, wow. It's been a long time coming.
Yes, it's been a long 21 days.
And let's just say it hasn't been an easy 21 days.
No, not at all.
I mean, I've had some outbursts. I've had some behavior problems. I've had, some sadness, some tears. It's been rough. I mean, I don't want to fool you guys in saying that 21 days of being positive is easy, because it's not easy. But I wanted to remind you of the 5 things. Maybe you're catching it at the end of the challenge. Maybe you're catching it at the beginning. I don't know. But just for people that don't know, the 5 things are a random act of kindness, meditation, and I sort of adapted it for those of us that are Christians to add prayer. And then 3 things that you are grateful for, and then exercise. Ooh, that's a must. That's a biggie. And then the last one was journaling about a positive experience that you've had. So it's not a hard challenge. It's not hard to do those 5 things, is what I mean. Now, as far as changing your mindset, because that's exactly what these 5 things were supposed to do. We started off trying to figure out whether this would work. Right. Is this theory true? And of course, if you check out my blog at www.deliverusfromeve.com, it will show the originator of the theory. It talks about, sort of how I came to decide to do this challenge, because I did not invent it. But I am testing it, to see whether it worked. So I'm going to ask my husband, and he's going to try his best not to be biased. How do you think the challenge has gone, and do you think it works?
I would say that the challenge went excellent. Of course, it's going to look like I'm being biased because she is my beautiful, wonderful wife. But we both agreed that she had a lot of negative traits, that she was being not positive a lot. And she really took this challenge on. She really took it seriously. She really stood up for what was right throughout the 21 days. And like she said, there were some ups and there were some downs. And of course, that's to be expected when you are trying to change your mindset, when you are trying to change the way you think about stuff, when you are looking to be positive. A way that you've been for a long time, it's hard to just walk past that. Yeah. But I tell you, through a lot of tears from both of us, and a lot of talks, and a lot of just really standing on the principles of God, these 21 days has transformed her. That's the truth. Those of you who know her, test the theory. You don't have to listen to me. Test it. It's been 21 days. So after the day, call her.
Yeah.
Come see her. See for yourself.
Now listen, everybody knows I'm still outspoken. That hasn't changed, and I will speak my mind. That'll never go away, right, baby?
Right.
But granted, the way that I'm perceiving things has changed. Trying to really focus in on retraining my thoughts, that when something appears negative, to flip it upside down and see what is the positive in this. Yeah. And I found that there really is a positive side of everything. And that's really hard to do sometimes, because one thing that I talked about a couple days ago that I hope you guys did your homework was fear. Yeah. And when fear sets in, the irrational fear, things that we really shouldn't be afraid of, but for whatever reason we are. When that sets in, sort of all we can see is negative. Yeah. And it's very hard to be positive. One example was the other day, I was in a situation where I had to be around someone I wasn't too comfortable being around. Yeah. And we've all been there. I mean, I can't think of anybody that I know that doesn't have somebody that can rustle your feathers, And when you have to figure out how to train yourself to overlook, what's happening, and figure out that it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay that if perhaps you misbehave a little bit, it's okay. But for me, in that situation, I had a big fear. And the fear was I was afraid of not behaving in a Christian-like manner. I know that people are watching me. I know that throughout these 21 days, people are looking for me to be positive, right? Yes. And I'm afraid that my own behavior could mess things up. And that's just a fear that I have that's really not rational, but it's probably one that most Christians have experienced, where you're just afraid that you might disappoint God, that you're going to disappoint him with the things that you say or the things that you're thinking or the things that you do. And, at the end of the day, that's an irrational fear, because we know that God is going to forgive us. Yes. And that God is there to help us, and that he sees that we're trying to make this change. And guess what? God's going to help us make the change. So I wanted to look to my husband to describe some of his irrational fears that he's had in the past, and sort of the negative thoughts that might have come up, and sort of how you can retrain your thoughts to become more positive, even in the face of fear. Yeah.
Wow. I've had many of those experiences. One that comes off the top of my head is having to speak at a funeral once. Having that irrational fear that I couldn't do it. That I couldn't get up there and speak in front of all these people. That I would have to be the one to make this happen. I was forgetting that, God is the one who's going to give me the strength through this, And so I was rationally sitting there, hands, palms, and sweaty, because I don't want to go up there talking in front of all these people, because I'm feeling like, oh, they might laugh at me, they might not like what I'm saying. All these irrational things going through my mind, but understanding that one thing I used to tell myself when I was fearful in that way, not only doing that, but also just talking to people regular, is God ain't gonna make himself look like no fool.
That's right.
And God is gonna speak the truth. So if I move myself out the way, if I stop thinking about all these irrational things and know that greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world, that God is gonna do what he got to do through this, then I could I could be at ease. That would comfort me. Also, there have been many times when I'm afraid to have conversations with people. Just irrational thoughts that go through my head, like, oh, they're going to reject me, or they're not going to like what I'm going to say, so I'll try to avoid it. And all these things that we trump up in our mind, these negative thoughts that we allow ourselves to think, stop us from doing what God is calling us to do sometimes. Sometimes we need to go and correct a brother or correct a sister. And we may be worried about whether or not they're going to receive what we're saying. But we can't worry about that. God isn't asking us to worry. He's asking us to do what his word says. And, we could be stopping a relationship from being restored.
That's right.
From not going ahead and doing what God is calling us to do. So fear is a very dangerous thing, but if we retrain our mind, as my wife has done these last 21 days, if we remember to stay positive,
that's right.
If we stay positive in what Christ has done for us, and knowing that we can't do things on our own. Yeah. We have to do it in his strength, and his strength will carry us through. So when it comes to fear, I'm not going to say I'm 100% over it myself, but I do know the recipe. The recipe to dealing with fear is remembering that fear is not of God.
Yeah.
Whatever you're afraid of, that ain't God talking to you.
That's right.
That's the enemy trying to stop you from doing something that God is calling you to do. So you need to reach deep down inside and not lean to your own understanding and not do what you think, but do what the Bible tells you to do. Right. There's a reason why God commands us to do certain things. When he commands us to do these things, we have to be willing to be obedient, even if we feel like the cost is too great for us to bear. God would not let us have to do anything that we couldn't handle.
That's right.
He ain't going to put nobody out there who ain't ready to do what he's calling you to do. So you cannot be afraid to be who God is calling you to be.
Wow.
You must be what he's calling you to be, because he needs you to do that. He needs us to spread his love and his light and his word throughout this world, y'all, because It's a lot of crazy stuff going on in this world.
I know you've been watching the news.
You've been watching the news, all these incidents happening here in our country.
ISIS. Oh my God.
ISIS. It's so much stuff going on, y'all. And please pray for these people.
Yes.
Please pray for the people here in our country. Pray for the people abroad in the other countries.
Yeah.
Because right now, they need our prayers.
Yes.
They need the prayers of the righteous more than anything.
Yeah.
And it's such a sad thing that's going on. But understanding that we're living in a crazy world, we have to, in these days, stand up for what is right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you don't want to.
Right.
It's not about what you want.
Because a lot of people are afraid to stand up for what's right.
A lot of people are afraid to stand up for what's right.
Because you think people might criticize you. You think you might lose some friends over it. You know, people might look at you differently. People might call you a Bible thumper. Yeah. People may say you're outspoken. Oh, here he comes, or here she comes, or there they go again. But you know, that's usually why I hear people saying they won't stand up for what's right, because they're usually afraid of the outcome. Yeah. You know, so.
Yeah. Being afraid is not of God, period.
Amen.
And we have to recognize that, retrain our mind, think about what God wants you to think about, and do what He tells you to do.
That's right. Be obedient.
Be obedient.
So, with that said, thank you, Pastor.
Of this house. Of this house.
But I would just want to say thank you for doing the video blog with us.
Yes.
Thank you for traveling with us for 21 days.
Tell us how it's changed you. Tell us. We need to know. We need feedback. People need to hear. People need to see God. We've just walked past family members and friends and people who've been telling us that they've been checking this out.
Yep.
And we know and see for ourselves that there's done some changes in people.
That's right.
Please tell people. People will overcome things through people's testimonies.
That's right.
So we need to hear your testimonies. We need to know. People need to know about the importance of being positive.
That's right. Okay, so you got it. You heard it first. This is the end of our 21-day challenge of positivity, but that does not mean that positivity stops. Right? This is a daily task that you must continue, because it's for the betterment of yourself as well as the betterment of others.
Yes.
So remember to continue doing those 5 things, and make sure that you stay tuned, because we're starting a new challenge tomorrow. And it's going to be for real, because you'll get to actually visibly see whether the challenge is working, right?
Yeah. And we need you. We need you to keep us accountable.
So for those of you that are struggling with weight, we are doing our Weight Watchers Challenge, 21 days. We're going to try to lose weight, and we're going to follow Weight Watchers 100%.
100%.
Now, everyone knows that Weight Watchers is really cool, because you can you have a certain amount of points you're allowed every day to eat. And they have a big, huge online system that allows you to track all the foods. They have, restaurants in their inventory, and they have a calculator. They even have a barcode scanner, which is really awesome.
That's awesome. We've scanned everything at the store today. Everything. Mayonnaise, fruit cups. Anything that we're going to eat, we done scanned it. So we know exactly how many points. The point system, y'all, is real.
So stay tuned for that challenge. We're going to do 21 days. So hopefully you'll be able to follow us with that. And thank you so much for watching the video, for commenting, and the most important thing is for participating.
Yes.
So I hope that your life has been changed. I hope to hear from you. And just want you guys to know that we're praying for you, and we love you.
We love you. We're praying for you. Stay positive.
Yes. Bye.
Bye-bye.